Call this meeting to order. Good morning and welcome to the regularly scheduled December 16th, 2025 meeting of the House Committee on Finance. Clerk, please take attendance.
Chair Tisdel.
Here.
Representatives Frisbie. Here. Vanderwall.
Present.
Leitner.
Here.
Martin.
Here.
Posthumous.
Here.
Alexander.
Here.
Aragona. Schutte. Hoskins.
Here.
Carter. Neely. Breen. Young. Pies. Mr. Chair, you have 11 members present. You do have a quorum.
Very good. Nick McLaren moves to adopt the
I need a representative to motion.
Oh, yeah.
He's been bugging me to get his name in the record. So, all right, well, there you go. Merry Christmas. Well, we'll make it Vice Chair Frisbie then.
Okay.
Moves to adopt the minutes for December 9th. No objections. That's unanimous consent. House Bill 5318. Representative Frisbie, let's take testimony, please. I tried, man. Begin. Introduce your guest, please.
Yep, this is Tim Poxon, who's the legislative chair of the American Legion here in the state of Michigan. So he'll be speaking in just a second. Thank you, Chair and members of the committee, for the opportunity to testify in support of House Bill 5318. House Bill 5318 makes practical, targeted updates to Michigan's General Sales Tax Act to ensure that charitable organizations, schools, churches, hospitals, and veteran service organizations can continue to serve their communities effectively in the face of rising costs. The current sales tax exemption for charitable fundraising and vehicle purchases were last adjusted in 2018. Since that time, inflation has dramatically increased the cost of vehicles, equipment, and goods commonly used for fundraising events. What may have been reasonable thresholds just a few years ago no longer reflect the market realities. As a result, many organizations are finding it increasingly difficult to raise funds or acquire reliable vehicles needed to deliver essential services. 5318 addresses the challenge in a responsible way. First, it increases the sales tax exemption for fundraising events to $75,000 in aggregate sales per event for schools, churches, hospitals, parent, cooperative preschools, and nonprofit organizations, provided the sales are for charitable purpose. This allows the organizations to run effective fundraisings without being penalized by outdated limits. Second, the bill updates the fundraising exemption for veteran service organizations by raising the cap for a single event from $25,000 to $75,000. Fundraising to provide transportation, emergency assistance, and community support to those who have served our country. This change reflects both the respect for their mission and recognition of today's cost. Third, 5318 modernizes the exemption for sales tax-free purchases of personal property and vehicles used to raise funds or obtain resources. The bill raises the exemption limits to $60,000 for personal property and $75,000 for vehicles, levels that better reflect the actual cost of safe, reliable equipment and transportation in today's market. 5318 also ties these thresholds to the Consumer Price Index, ensuring the law remains current over time. While the bill may result in a modest reduction in sales tax revenue, the fiscal impact is limited and targeted. In return, the state enables nonprofits and veterans organizations to operate more efficiently, raise funds more effectively, and deliver services that otherwise might fall to the government. I respectfully urge the committee to support House Bill 5318, and I'm going to turn it over to Tim Poxon.
Thank you, Chair and members of the committee. It's an honor to be here. The American Legion Department of Michigan does support House Bill 5318. Michigan House Bill 5318 of 2025 seeks to offset years of inflation by bringing provisions of the General Sales Tax Act as they relate to 501c19 veteran group organizations back to an impact level where they were afforded back in 2018. This bill provides identical treatment of 501c3 charities and 501c4 social welfare organizations related to fundraising events and purchases of vehicles and other tangible personal property used for their charitable purposes. The background on this is when enacted, Public Act 530 provided sales tax relief to veterans organizations up to the amount of $25,000 for each qualified individual purchase, such as the purchase of vehicles, while leaving the purchase threshold a mere $5,000 for charities and social welfare organizations. There was no provision in the act that allowed per fundraising event exemption amount to charities and social welfare organization. This impetus behind the bill, the emphasis behind this bill is to return the buying power of the tax-exempt organizations back to the level they were afforded back in 2018. And then just in a review, on page 2, which you all, by the way, should have a copy of, this legislation will increase the sales tax exemptions for schools, churches, hospitals, and nonprofits for the purpose of charitable fundraising. Under the General Sales Tax Act, the first 10,000 of sales by above groups has been aggregated sales of 25,000 were exempt from the sales tax. And currently these charitable tax organizations purchase of vehicles with a sales price of less than $5,000 or $25,000 for veteran groups received a sales tax exemption. Within the past 10 years, inflation has dramatically raised, and this legislation needs to be updated in accordance with the times. This bill would exempt $75,000 in aggregate sales of personal property for each fundraising event by the above listed organizations, as long as the sales were for charitable fundraising. The $25,000 veterans organizations would be increased to $75,000 and would increase the sales tax exemption for personal property or vehicles raised, obtained, and resources from $5K, $25K to $60K for personal property and $75,000 for vehicles. Again, it's an honor to be before this committee, and I appreciate your time today and hope you'll support this bill.
If you have any questions, be free to take them. I'll just add one example. The local VFW that wanted us to help, the American Legion wanted us to help in the market to try to buy a new pickup to haul 1 plow, 2 haul trailers. And if you've bought a 4-wheel drive pickup and a heavy-duty pickup, you know what those cost these days. They're up into the 70,000s easily, even for a very non-decorated or equipped model. So this will allow them to be able to operate in the marketplace and fulfill those needs.
Okay. Representative Martin.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I think we ought to add also the whole scope of what veteran service organizations do for veterans, and technically then for the state, because the state's not supplying that activity for the veteran. The veterans are doing it for the veterans. We report every month the number of hours that and actually it's an annual thing, but we record it every month, how many hours we spend doing the volunteer work. At the cost of the Federal Labor Department, the number of hours we take to do the Great Lakes Cemetery in my case, the value returned to the community is much greater than any sales tax thing you're going to see here that we're going to lose, quote unquote, to the state. So whether it's giving helping handicap equipment or rehabilitation equipment, transportation for people to get to medical appointments and so forth, things that necessarily don't go reported because it's volunteer work, it's extremely beneficial to the entire state, much higher cost than what the sales tax loss is going to be.
Well stated. Thank you.
Any other questions? That's it.
Thank
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you.
Now we're going to move to voting on House Bill 5256, which is my bill. We have a substitute presented by Representative Young. Representative Young, would you like to speak to your substitute?
Thank you so much, Mr. Chair. And again, thank you for bringing the legislation forward. We heard good testimony when we were here last regarding your legislation. And I just wanted to uplift that we know that good health doesn't start and stop with the health center or with the country club fitness center, but good health is also being able to afford fresh, healthy groceries. That's a part of good health, particularly when we're looking at the skyrocketing cost of groceries for everyday Michiganders. We know that good health also includes being able to afford prescription drugs. One of the things that I've really been dealing with lately is I have a good friend who is experiencing a serious illness. She doesn't have insurance. And this is what she said to me the other day. She said, sickness won't take us to the grave, but poverty will. Sickness won't take us to the grave, but poverty will. And so when we look at these opportunities to provide a relief for Michiganders around health and fitness, I want to be certain to include, along with the fitness centers, groceries as well as prescription drugs. So with that, I offer my substitute. Thank you for the time this morning, Mr. Chair.
You're welcome. And would you like to motion to take that up and be a
Yes, I would like to motion that we bring this before the committee for a vote.
Representative Young so moves to adopt the substitute. Clerk Campbell Crawley, please take the roll.
On the motion to adopt the H3 substitute, Chair Tisdel,
No.
Representatives Frisbie,
Pass.
Vanderwall,
No.
Leitner,
No.
Martin,
No.
Posthumous,
No.
Alexander,
No.
Aragona,
No.
Shutey,
No.
Hoskins,
Yes.
Carter, Neely, Breen, Young,
Yes.
Pies.
Yes.
Mr. Chair, you have 3 yea, 8 nay, 1 pass. The motion does not prevail.
All right, thank you very much. I've got one card to read in. This is wishing not to speak and opposing the bill, Sean Sorensen Abbott from the Michigan Department of Treasury. And I just can't help myself, but if everybody got to look at the House fiscal analysis, and the claim is that this deduction would cost somewhere between $50 and $70 million on an annual basis. Well, as I testified last week, at $1,500, the maximum credit would be $63.75. To get to $50 million, you would need 784,000 Michiganders to itemize their taxes and take the maximum deduction. To get to $70 million, you'd need 1.1 million Michiganders to itemize their deductions and take the maximum amount. We have one problem with that. There are only 440,000 Michiganders that itemize. And on average, only 25% of Michiganders have a club membership. So that brings it to about 110,000. So if 110,000 that itemize and have a club membership took the maximum deduction, that would be about $7 million. So the House fiscal analysis, or this estimate, was only off by 7 to 10 times. And then if you want to know, well, the $7 million, what does that mean to the school aid fund? Well, 23.8% of income tax revenue goes to the school aid fund. 23.8% would equal 0.008% of the school aid fund. So Representative Aragona moves to adopt this or move it forward. Take the roll, please.
On the motion to report, Chair Tisdel,
Yes.
Representatives Frisbie,
Yes.
Vanderwall,
Yes.
Leitner,
Yes.
Martin,
Yes.
Posthumous,
Yes.
Alexander,
Yes.
Aragona,
Yes.
Shutey,
Yes.
Hoskins,
Pass.
Carter,
Pass.
Neely, Breen, Young, Pies.
No.
Mr. Chair, you have 9 yea, 1 nay, 3 pass. The motion does prevail.
Thank you very much, and that will be reported with recommendation. Vice Chair Hoskins moves to excuse absent members, No further business in front of this committee. The committee stands adjourned.